Okay. Shiva, can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what exactly what exactly we are discussing in the last class? We are in the process of trying to come up with our own architecture, which actually comes up with the object detection. So what we started with, I have an image. Image is basically a matrix according to the system, and I'm not sure where exactly the required objects are present. It can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here. That too, it can be of any size. So to detect this, I propose one solution where I just take boxes of different sizes and just scan it like this, and take the each part of the image and send it to CNN. Each part that you cropped using this box, that sub portion of the entire image will be given to CNN, and CNN will tell whether an object exists or not. This is one solution, but the problem is I have to generate as many boxes as possible. I'm not sure what is the size of the target object in the target image. So I have to generate almost like thousands and thousands and thousands of boxes, and each box has to slide to the entire image. Again, that's a heavily time consuming job. So that's the reason we don't follow this approach. So the next thing is the next optimization that we have done is, why don't we cluster similar pixels? Why don't we cluster the similar pixels of the object so that I'll be able to draw a good bounding box around that object. So this also it's definitely better than previous approach, but the problem is sometimes because of the different colors in the same object, you tend to draw multiple bounding boxes. So actually we can avoid or we can reduce that impact, to a certain extent. Okay, how we will see later, but as of now, once I have some bounding boxes, once I have the bounding boxes, assume that with the limited bounding boxes that I have using clusters, how do I actually yeah, how do I actually perform this in CNN? Guys, very important thing is CNN takes the cropped image. What cropped image? Maybe I have proposed a box here. This has some part of the entire object, maybe some image till here, but it could not fit the other part of the body. So whatever the portion that I have, that sub portion that is there in the box, that will be given as input to CNN. Now what CNN has to do? What CNN has to do? It has to actually do two things. One is it has to actually tell whether there exists some object or not. Okay, and later it also has to tell the coordinates of the bounding box. Already the box that I proposed has coordinates, but these are not the appropriate guidance, they're just proposed coordinates. Whatever the proposal that you do, it may not be always correct. So what is the true box that I'm expecting here? The true box is this. So I will try to ensure that after I try multiple times, the new coordinates is very close to the true box, which is highlighted in the red. So I start from the black box inside. I start from the black box inside and slowly move to the true box, which is highlighted in red color. So till that point, you keep on updating your weights so that it will reveal a box which is very close to the ground truth box that you have annotated. Okay. Now, the questions that we need to really answer is, when I say CNN, how can a single CNN give two kinds of outputs? Because you have to give the classification output, you also have to give the regression output. So how can a single CNN give two kinds of outputs? Because one is what to say is regression and other one is basic classification. So how it can give is the very important question that we have to answer. So how do we answer this? Mm, that's what I think we stopped in the last class. We'll see a solution for this. Somehow we'll try to address this. Let us think in a different way so that yeah. Okay. I have a CNN. CNN is basically a sequence of convolution layer you'll be giving in your input image to a sequence of convolution layer, max pool layer, convolution layer, max pool layer, like that. Maybe assume that the last layer is a max pooling layer or an average pooling layer, whatever. Okay. So this is actually a feature extraction part. Feature extraction part. Perfectly fine. Now, if after this, whatever you have is actually fully connected layers. Fully connected layer 1, fully connected layer 2, fully connected layer 3. This is a CNN where ImageNet weights are being restored every time that we use here. So whatever, here assume that the pre-trained weights can detect 1,000 classes. This fully connected layer can give you a softmax distribution of 1,000 classes, 1,000 objects. But do I really require to detect this 1,000 classes every time in the image? Do I really require to go for a softmax distribution for all those? May not be required. So instead of relying on this last layer, what we do is we take this last but one layer, that is FC2, fully connected layer, and this one maybe I'm just interested in whether like whether an object exists or not. Okay, so what we do is we take this last fully connected layer and give it to SVM classifier. Again, see a new notion, Nana. You know support vector machines, right? Support vector machines. This support vector machine, what it does, it classifies the object that was given as input, the cropped image or the image that was there in the box, that is given as input to CNN. Then it has been sent to FC1, then it has been sent to FC2, whatever the representation that you have. I suddenly brought a new word called SVM. Why? Now I'm introducing you the machine learning concept, which is SVM, support vector machine. See, there is no reason why these guys have used SVM. Suddenly they brought that into the paper. So that what is the output that I'm expecting from SVM? I'm expecting the object, maybe it's a car or a bus or something else. So again, a question to you. Okay, so they're using SVM to give the object names. Okay, perfectly fine, sir. But I think can we use the fully connected layer itself? Why should we again go for SVM? Yes, no, you can go for it. I don't know why they have used only SVM. You can even extend your fully connected layer. Even you can just try to start predicting directly from here. There is no problem. You can start predicting directly from FC2. Okay, so there's no problem at all. Okay, so this is like, whenever you read any book, textbook, they'll say that the feature extraction outcome is given as input to support vector machines, and support to vector machine will classify the object. That's perfectly fine, but there is no need of going to machine learning algorithm. You can even extend your neural network and update the weights, and your neural network itself will classify the objects. That's one thing. Okay, so this is my classifier. This is my classifier. Okay, so maybe I'll be very precise. I'll be sending this to SVM. Let us use the same thing, same model that was used by the researchers, SVM, and finally I'll get the object name here. So in this way, my first task is done, classification. That means it will tell what is the object that was present in the cropped image. What is the object that was present in the cropped image? I will get that as output. Perfectly fine. But what is the other task that I have to do? I also have to draw the bounding box. I have to draw the bounding box. There is another challenge. So maybe what they have done is they have not taken the representations from FC1 or FC2. Instead, they have taken the representations from here, the max pooling layer, and they've applied various regression models. Okay, regression model 1, regression model 2, regression model 3, regression model 4. Why 4 regression models? Because I have to predict 4 values. What are the 4 values? The values are actually the bounding box x comma y and width and height. So this predicts x, this predicts y, this predicts w, this predicts h. Now these are the predicted coordinates, and finally you'll draw a bounding box using these coordinates. You should not, can I say this is that much simple? Is it really that much simple? May not be, right? There is some, I think something is missing in this. Okay, so what, see, it's basically whatever this whatever the upper part that you see, that is classifying the object, is traditional CNN. It's very, very important, Nana. We have not done anything. Instead of passing the entire image, it's CNN. What expects? Again, I'm reiterating if you're confused. CNN, what we do, we give the entire image. But now we are not giving the entire image. Instead, using our clustering approach or grouping the similar pixels, I got a sub portion of the image. A cropped version of the image. That sub portion that was present in the box is given as input to CNN. Now CNN will tell whether some object exists or not, and accordingly it will display it. Fine, perfectly fine. But along with this, I'm also saying that this CNN, we have 2 parts. One is feature extraction part and another is fully connected part, fully connected layers part. Now, if this fully feature extraction part is supplied, here SVM will be there. Or this is optional if you feel, then you can even predict from by extending the network itself. Okay, so whatever. So this feature extraction part, what we do is we'll just run some regression models, 4 regression models, such that I get 4 values of the bounding box. So this is a pattern or the sequence that we can think of. This is fine, but something is missing. See, what are the coordinates that we are drawing here? This should reflect the actual coordinates, actual image coordinates. I cannot draw a bounding box. I cannot draw a bounding box around this, right? This is a cropped version. I have to draw the bounding box on the entire image or on the original image. So how do I do that? For that, what they have done is they have come up with some equations. Okay, so the equations are, first let me write one equation to predict x value. It is actually gx minus px by pw. What is this? What are these values? What are these values? You're not sure? Let us see this. Let me draw. See, classification is very, very simple, Anna. Traditionally in CNN, you use it for classification only. There's no difference here. But instead of passing the entire image, you pass the cropped version. That's all. But we are worried about how to do regression, how to draw the bounding box. That's the main important difference you need to hire. You need to really focus on. So here, to do that, I have to say the region proposal. Region proposal image in the sense region proposal image is my input. That means the image that was there in the box is actually called as the region proposal image. I'll be supplying this to CNN and you'll be applying this model 1, regression model 1. I'll be applying regression model 2. I'll be applying regression model 3. I'll be applying regression model 4. And combine all of this to actually get coordinates. Let me call that as dx of p Let me call that as dx of, sorry, dy of p. So these are just notations, and it can be anything. dw of p, dh of p. So x, y, w, and h coordinates of the bounding box. So these are actually the predicted coordinates from each of the models that we have here. Now this will be a little confusing, guys. Please listen very carefully. Slowly you'll get clarity. So once I have this, what about this coordinates? This box also will have coordinate because I proposed this. And say that some image exists in this. Some image exists, whatever the image that was existing. I'm not sure whether that is the right bounding box. I'm not sure because I randomly clustered based on my box that was proposed. You remember yesterday I've told I proposed like this, where similar pixels are there here, some similar pixels are there for shirt, some similar pixels are there for pant. So I expected that the entire body is there in this part, but the entire body was not there, only the face was there. So that means my box that I draw is always not perfect if I use basic clustering algorithm. That's the reason I want to correct that. I want to correct that. Maybe I'm just passing this part of the image to CNN, but I want the box around the entire person. So that means since I did not pass any CNN, so my initial bounding box is very wrong. Then slowly during the training, my corrected bounding box will be something like this that is expected from this. DXP, DYP, DWP, and DHP corrects this mistake that I've done by drawing a small box. So it somehow displaces the small box to get a big box or the box very close to the ground truth box. Okay, fine. So now this box also, which box? This box that I have, the small box will also have coordinates, yes or no? Every box is represented with 4 coordinates. Let me call that as px, py, pw, and ph. And let me add this to this px, py, pw, ph. Now why I have to consider both, guys, this one and this one? Because the coordinates that I proposed, px, py, pw, ph, are with respect to the small box. That means you'll not have anything here. It's just a face, not the complete body. Even this dx, dy, dw, dh are also the adjusted parameters. These are adjusted parameters. I'll tell you guys slowly, you'll understand. Initially you may not understand. Now based on this px, py, pw, ph and dx, dy, dw, dh, I finally want to get gx, gy, gw, gh. So these are the final coordinates of the original image, not on the cropped image, on the original image, on the original image. Now there are certain equations, slowly you'll understand. The equations are gx is equal to pw dx of p plus px. I'm combining both, Nana. See, gx is basically, how do I get gx here? How do I get gx here? See here. How do I get gx? Gx is basically dx into w plus px. Sir, how do we get this formula? See, very simple. Here, if I draw any bounding box, the center is x comma y. This is my width and this is my height. Okay, so the x coordinate, the x coordinate is, obviously you know that this is x axis and the y axis. So what is the parallel axis of x? In this case it's w. So since I am at this position in the center, I should know how much adjustment I have to do to get the original x, because this px is the x of this box, Nana. Px is the x for this proposed box. But do you think that the proposed box is the right box? No. Proposed box in our case only covered face. It did not cover the entire person. So this proposed box Px is not right. So Gx is a right x coordinate. Px is the proposed x coordinate. I have to move from this x to this x. Then what I'm actually adding? I'm adding dx. Dx tells that how much change you have to do from proposed x to gx. Then why I have to add w? Because x-axis and the w is parallel. It analogous the same. So that's the reason the adjusting factor w is also considered. Okay, basically in one line you can say that, okay, if you are confused with this, simply you can say that this is my px, this is my px, and this is my true gx. Px is definitely having some error, so I need to be very close to the true x coordinate. So for that, if my px is 2, if my original x, when you annotate, when you really annotate on an image, assume that you're out for that particular image, when you annotated your x is 5, your x is 5, then dx of p should be 3, so that this gx will also be 5, and I expect the x also to be 5. So what change I have to do, that will be there here. Okay, so we are again adjusting this with respect to width, because x-axis and the width represents the same direction. Okay, so this is the main theme for the first equation, to get x, to get x. So once you understood this, the remaining equations will be very simple to you. Gy will be equal to dy of p. You take, okay, let me start like this. You take the proposed y from this small box which I started giving to CNN. Definitely the y, if x is wrong, y also could be possibly wrong, or maybe it's this is not a smart technique, that y also will be wrong. So I need to adjust that y in such a way that that y is very close to the annotated y. Okay, so for that I need to see dy of p, dy of p. For example, if y is 6, my true, when I annotated, the true y is 9. So dy of p would be 3. Okay, again the y is having the height is having the same direction as y-axis. So I'm also adding ph. So this is the adjustment equation to get the true y point for the current cropped box. This, see, I should not only adjust the x and y of the proposed box, I should also adjust the width and height. Sometimes, see, now in our case, we are having only the face. Now, along with the x, the center position, you also need to adjust the width and height so that the entire face will be covered. So the entire body will be covered also. Along with face, the body also will cover. So that means GW is equal to, they came up with some other equation. They have taken the proposed W and have taken exponential, taking the changed P. That means this is my proposed width and this is the width that we got as an output for the CNN, for the CNN. Now the question is why they have used exponential. There is no logic for that. You can take any other function. At the end of the day, it's an adjustment between the true W and the proposed W. So over a period of time, based on my back propagation, this adjustment will be done and finally you'll be getting GW, where you will observe the minimal loss. If this GW is very close to the annotated W, because you will annotate, you remember that annotation. So if your annotation W width is very close to the proposed, like, finally calculated GW, then you will stop because your loss is very minimal. So on a similar note, you can also have GH. It's nothing but PH of exponential, again DH of P. That's all. That means using this equations, basically adjusting, taking the original proposed x coordinate, adjusting with the predicted x to get the final gx, such that we repeat these adjustments till the time we get minimal loss. Till we get minimal loss, the back propagation will happen. These equations will get it. But I'll again check once I get gx or gy or gw or gh, I'll cross check with the true coordinates. If the difference is very minimal, then I say the loss is minimal. Otherwise, the loss is high. Once the loss is high, I backpropagate in the entire network and ensure that those weights are updated. So this is about regression model. Okay. So is it clear, guys? Is it clear? So it should not be confusing. It's very, very important. What is the first step? Let me summarize, Nana, in one line. Let me put summary for RCNN. First thing is I don't know where exactly the object lies. So now what we do, cluster similar pixels. Then you'll get multiple boxes, this size, different size, something like this. Now take every box. I'm writing very, very colloquially, you'll not find everywhere. So you'll never forget this. Take every box. Take every box and slide over in the entire image. For each sliding, for each slided portion, whatever the image that was there in the slided portion, for each slided operation, let me call this, for each slided operation, crop the image or crop the image or pixels inside the box. Inside the box, you take that. Now supply proposed box. This is the proposed box based on similar pixels to CNN. And what do you expect? You expect some object exists or not. Some object exists or not. Okay. So either you can do this directly by taking the CNN output. See, better is, I don't know, again, I'm telling this, I don't know why the others have used SVM, but people later have used without using any machine learning algorithm, just by using CNN, they could predict the object. So why do actually they went for SVM? There's no reason for that. But as of now, you can just use the same CNN to get the object name. Perfectly fine. Now, it's not just object name, just passing an image and then saying that cow is there, a dog is there, some other object is there. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want a bounding box around it. So the most important part is pass the same cropped image. Whatever the box that you proposed, whatever the box that you proposed, the same box. Okay, so the same boxed, whatever you proposed. Again, it has already been passed to CNN, but CNN last layer, that last layer in the feature extraction, let's assume that it's max pooling layer. This max pooling layer, whatever we have, is sent to regression models to predict W, H, X, Y. But this WHXY is not the true XYs, a true WH, they are displacements with respect to proposed. So that means proposed is PX, then I do some displacement with respect to D. That's the reason I call it D for displacement. I add dx. This dx can be positive or negative to get the final x, gx. Similarly, I have the proposed y, and then I add the displacement y to get gy. Similarly, the other equations. Now, how do I know this gx coordinate is true? I'll compare with my annotated x. If this is 5 and this is also 5, then I'm perfectly predicting the x coordinate of that of that object in that image. So this is the other theme. Now, what is the drawback? Okay, I could somehow get the object name, and I can also get the coordinates. Over a period of time, I backpropagate and ensure that the coordinates are perfect. The object name is also perfect. But what is the drawback? I think there are many drawbacks for this approach. Firstly, let me tell you, problems with RCNN. The first one is it's actually very costly in terms of resources. very computationally very costly. Computationally very costly. Why? Why it is computationally very costly? Because you are proposing the region based on similar pixels. Like you say that this set of pixels are very similar, these set of pixels are very similar, these set of pixels are very similar, then set of pixels are very similar. Like this, you are proposing the regions, based on the similarity of the pixels. But each region should be passed to CNN and again do the classification regression. Again, this has to be passed to CNN to get classification and regression values. Again, like that, every box that you propose should be sent for CNN, ensure that the weights are trained, ensure that it gives classification result, ensure that it gives regression result. But how many boxes you'll propose? We don't know, right? We don't know, really don't know, because just clustering based on similarity is not the right way to propose the boxes. Some other approaches we need to follow, but this approach is fine. But only thing is, I need to propose many boxes, and each box has to be sent to CNN, and it's not easy to train and get the classification regression coefficients for every box that you sent. Okay, there is one problem. It's very time consuming. The second problem is different models are used, unfortunately. This is the first variant. Definitely the mistakes will be very high. Different models are used. They have used different models. So what are those different models? Firstly, they've used CNN for feature extraction. They've used CNN for feature extraction. And they also have used SVM to recognize the object class. What is the object about? Instead of extending the CNN, they've used SVM. Again, I'm telling guys, if you want to retrieve the object, you can still use CNN. There's no need that you should go for SVM once the feature extraction is done. So instead of what they have done is this feature extraction part is given as input to SVM to retrieve the object class. If you want to continue, you just add fully connected layers. You just add fully connected layers and get the object class here. So anything is fine. But whatever in the original paper, they have used SVM. And do you have any other problem? Yes, we also have used dedicated regression models to actually get the coefficients. That to 4 models we have used for creating X, Y, W, and H. So this is again a costly approach in terms of computations. So that means in terms of regions, I have a problem. In terms of running different models, I have another problem. So these are the two problems that researchers actually found out. Somehow they they thought rigorously and they came up with some solution. But can we come up with that solution? Think. So after looking at these two disadvantages, what you want an approach that is very fast. Then that is fast than RCNN. Okay, that's the reason people came up with an architecture called, they solved the problem of time consumption and they came up with a technique called fast RCNN. RCNN is very slow because of the above drawbacks that I've mentioned. They overcome that drawbacks and came up with a technique called fast RCNN. Okay, but now the question is, how could they come up with certain solution such that the entire process is completed very fast? You will not realize, guys. I'll tell you how fast the RCNN is. Okay, so if RCNN takes 9 seconds, assume that just 9 seconds to do the classification and give the coordinates. Fast RCNN, FRCNN, give it in 1 second. So actually it's much faster than during training time. Even in testing time also, the fast RCNN is faster. Okay, fine. But how do I overcome the above problems? What are the above problems? We'll see. Any of you come up with the solution, it will be awesome. Now, what are the problems again? Whatever the regions that I am proposing, there are many number. Even after applying clustering, in reality, you'll have many boxes. So if I reduce the number of boxes, I think the computations will reduce. That's one hint that is coming to me in my mind as of now. The other thing is, maybe I think I should avoid this SVM. Why unnecessarily they brought SVM, I don't know. Maybe we can reduce the number of models that I use. Here they have used 3 models, CNN model, SVM model, and regression models. At least I can avoid using additional models so that again the time consumption will be reduced. Okay, that is also a good thought. Okay, then we will see how do we put this in a much more like if I just avoid like this, I think something I'm missing here. Just see. Maybe one problem is if I reduce the number of boxes is one thing, but can I really reduce number of boxes? What is the other approach? What is the other approach? Do I have really an approach to do that other than clustering the similar pixels? From I don't think so. I can do it as of now, at least. Maybe later we will see, but at least within in the context of fast RCNN, I am not able to reduce the number of boxes. Okay, but maybe okay, maybe think in this direction. This is first box. The sub portion of the image is sent to CNN. Again, this is another box. The sub portion of this image is sent to CNN. Again, some other box. The sub portion of this is sent to CNN. Oh my God. If this is like 20,000 boxes I proposed, 20,000 times you have to send to CNN. Oh, this is a problem. Okay, then fine. Maybe since running, you already realized in labs, running CNN models or any other deep learning model is heavily time consuming. It can take minutes, it can take hours, it can take days sometimes depending on your data set. So can I avoid this instead of passing every image, instead of passing every cropped image to CNN? Maybe can I think of something like this? Any solution can you think? How do I avoid passing these many times? I have to pass only one time, irrespective of the number of cropped images. Somehow I need to design a solution where I should pass only one time to the CNN. How do I redesign my architecture? Anybody? Here the problem is every box image you're sending to CNN. If there are 20,000 boxes, you're sending your 20,000 boxed images to 20,000 CNN models. Imagine 20,000 CNN models, how much time it will take? It will take years based on your data set. That's ruled out. So what is the solution? Anybody? Anybody? We're slowly coming up with the solution. Maybe we'll see this. Maybe the solution should work. What it was, I will take the entire image, Nana. I'll not take the image that was present in the proposed boxes. Proposed boxes using clustering, whatever I proposed, I'll not pass that small portions of the image. Let me pass the entire image as a traditional CNN. In traditional CNN, we'll pass the same thing. I'll give the entire flower. I'll not give sub portions of the flower as I'm doing here. Okay, so I'll give the entire flower, the complete image. I don't mind what is there in that image. It can be having one image, one object, two objects, 10 objects, or 20 objects, or 100 objects in that image. I don't mind. I'll supply the entire image to CNN. Okay, so that I would get what? What is the output? This is the biggest question, right? If I just pass the image directly to CNN, if I pass the image to the CNN directly, what about the bounding boxes? See, do remember, Nana, the most important, even in one of the question papers I've asked in CAT 2, see, CNN has the majority, like no, the main aspect of CNN is it is actually having the feature extraction part. It is having feature extraction part. What is feature extraction part? Whatever the layers that you have before the fully connected layers, till that point is called feature extraction part. That feature extraction part is actually a translation invariant. I don't know who got this question, which set got this question. It's actually called translation invariant. Translation invariant. Have you ever realized, if I have trained my model to detect a ball, that ball, assume that like in all my images during training, the ball was there in the upper part of the image. Completely, ball was there only in the upper part of the image. But during testing, I've given the ball in the lower part of the image, but still it would classify this as ball. How? Because of the feature representation that was done by the CNN. So that's the reason CNN are translation invariant. That means it doesn't bother about where exactly the object is present. Wherever it may be, it can understand that patterns and could recognize. So that understanding was there in the feature extraction part of CNN. That means ignoring the fully connected layers. Okay, so this is basically understanding. Okay, let me use this understanding to do something else. Okay, now what it was, did I solve the problem here? Because I'm passing the entire image at once. That means I'm running the model only once. I'm running the model only once. Okay, I think it's making sense to me now. Okay, let me redraw here. Then I think my idea is working. I'll pass the entire image to the CNN, and I would get some feature extraction. You know what is feature extraction? I'm not going to fully connected layer 1, fully connected layer 2, fully connected layer 3. So if you want to know what is the outcome of feature extraction, for example, if I want to detect a face, I already told this long back. So in the first convolution layer, I just identify various shapes of your face, various shapes. This is convolution layer. Then the second convolution layer will slowly tie up this the small shapes that you've learned. In like that, it goes on, and the final layer of your feature extraction would identify various. It joins various curves that it learns and understands the entire abstraction of the understanding. So if you really want what is the outcome of this feature extraction, instead of printing the output after fully connected layers, you know that add convolution layer, you're doing it right. You just print the output after the feature extraction. That means before you send your data to fully connected layers, just try to print that and see as an image. Then you'll come to know, oh, if I pass a flower, system understood is a flower like this. If I pass a car, system understood is the car like this. You'll understand how system is understanding the images. That's a very, very important task. You can try that. That would be interesting also. Okay. So image, I pass CNN. Now, what it was, I also want what? The regions, right? I also want the boxes. So I will take this region proposals that I proposed. Region proposals that I proposed. Again, how did I propose the regions? Again, the same thing, Nana. I'll find out the similar pixels. Maybe here it is there. That box will come here. See the boxes, there is no other way, at least as of now, there is no other way to reduce the number of boxes. The only solution that I have as of now is combine similar pixels and ensure that it may be part of an object and a draw a bounding box around it, and that's called region proposed box. But this may not be the correct box, like the face example that I've told. I need to adjust this box by sending this box to the CNN. Okay, now the CNN feature extraction part is this region proposed. What are the region that you proposed? This box is projected to the CNN. CNN is also feature map representation, Anna. Maybe some feature map represent with different types, shades, something like that. You will have an abstract representation. Now I'm telling that this is the output of CNN. Output of CNN, some abstract understanding of the entire image. Now what we have to do is we have to project this proposed box onto the feature map. We have to project the proposed box onto the feature map. Then assume that this part, no, I'll take out this. Whatever the part that was there here, that part only I'll take. I'm completely taking. So I'm now cropping. See, Nana, now I'm cropping the feature extraction that I got earlier. If in the original case, I cropped the image, original image. I have proposed a region and I cropped the original image. But now, instead of cropping the original image, I'm cropping the understanding of the CNN. Okay, so again, just telling guys, if maybe I don't know what object it is, what object it understood is, maybe the understanding of certain object is this for the system. Then I proposed a box. Okay, that box, when I projected here, maybe this, okay, let me change the color. Maybe this is the part. Maybe, okay, maybe this is the part. Now this part has to be cropped, and sent to fully connected layers. Fully connected layer 1, fully connected layer 2, etc., etc., to finally get what is the object that was there in this yellow highlighted part. What is the object that was there in the yellow highlighted part, and what is the actual boundary. This is just proposed boundary. This is a proposed boundary. What is the true boundary? Maybe this is the true boundary. So I want the classification, I want the regression coefficients. So I think idea is fine, right? Because irrespective of the number of boxes that you propose, I'm not running the CNN again. The CNN will only run once. But only thing is the box that you send sizes will be different and the cropped versions will be different. And just I send a fully connected layers and I'll come to know whether this cropped version projected on a feature map. Now this is a feature map. Okay, abstract representation. Earlier it is entire image. So this feature map projected subportions. I'll check whether I have it has some class, whether it has real an object, whether my system could detect an object that was present in the feature map or not. And I also get the corrected regression coefficients. The correct regression coefficients also I'll get over a period of time when I'm updating through backpropagation. But there's a very big problem, Anna. Very, very big problem. Very, very, very big problem. If you do this, you'll get error. I think more than error, it will be heavily time consuming. Why? The reason is, see why CNN is very popular. Why CNN is very popular? Because you're sharing the weights. You're sharing the weights. For example, if my filter is 2, 10, 20, 30, the same kernel is convoluted through the entire image. That means the weights are getting shared, so the number of weights that I need to update will be less. So that's the reason CNN is taking less time when compared with DNN. That's one of the main reasons. Perfectly fine. But do you know, have you ever asked this question? This is one of my favorite interview question. Always we tell to the students to actually convert all your images to a standard size that the CNN model expects. For example, if I want to pass an image to a VGG network, assume that you need to resize your x comma y to p comma q, because VGG always expects p comma q size. If you pass an image which is not of size p and q, it will throw an error. The predefined libraries have been coded like that, but nobody has given a thought why. Sir, why? Can anybody tell me? Is it really required to have a constant size for every model? So VGG has its own p comma q, and ResNet has its own p comma q. Like that, every standard model has its own p comma q. But why? Can anybody tell? This is a very good interview question. I have never seen a student answering this question whenever we ask in the deep learning interviews. I don't know why, but this is a little tricky also. But this is like very important aspect. Whenever we ask the dimensions of their image, and whenever we ask whether they have resized the image or not, they say, sir, VG expects a size of P comma Q set. So I've resized all the images to that. Oh, cha. Is it so? Why? Can you give a thought? I'm saying that you don't require to resize. My answer is, I'm just telling the answer. You don't really require to resize, at least in this context, in this object detection context. Maybe the predefined libraries have written the logic in such a way that you need to pass the same sized image, but it is not really required. It is not really required. Why? That's a very interesting question that we'll try to answer in the next class. Very, very interesting question. Okay. So I think today, I think this is the last class for this week. I think in the next class, what we do is we'll complete this RCNN, and the next week we'll also go for YOLO variants, and we'll try to complete the module 5. So yeah, that's a tentative plan. So we'll see next later. But this is a very important question. I think I'm holding this question for long many days, but even I think I doubt it whether it will be available directly in the internet, but it will be there in research papers partially. So let us see the main reason for this. Okay, let's say this. Let me stop the recording because I think it's almost 3.